Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today we have a fun video today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about date palms, which is what you see behind me, and even the big tree trunk that you see behind both of us here. So I have some date palms, and date palms, the way that they grow, they are dioecious. There's male and female plants of date palms. It's one of the few plants that are like that. So there's different plants. Some plants have male and female flowers on the same plant, and those are called monoecious. And these are dioecious, and that means we have male and female plants. And it's a little unusual for the plant world to have this, and date palms is one of the primary examples of that. Some of the other examples of dioecious plants are ginkgo. So ginkgo biloba has both male and female plants, and in that case the female plant is undesirable because the fruits of the plant are just really stinky, and they're awful. So ginkgo, another plant that where they are dioecious, are holly. So holly has both male and female plants, and holly is known for actually having the berries. It's beneficial to have those red holly berries associated with the plant. So, but you won't only get those if you have a male plant that's associated with the female plants that do carry the berries. One of the other plants that is known and is dioecious is papaya. So papaya is another one of those plants where it's good to have the female because that's where the fruit comes from. All right, let's get back to date palm. Oh, and I should mention the guy sitting here is the father or grandfather. Actually, the plants are the parents or grandparents, but he's the owner of the plants that are the parents and grandparents of some of the plants behind me that we had tested to see whether they're male or female. So, and the idea behind today is to have a gender reveal of these plants. So you can do a test. You can do PCR test, polymerase chain reaction test of these plants, and in this case the male plants contain unique bands on a PCR. So we had these plants analyzed. Let me tell you a little bit about the background of the plants. So the parent plants are behind us right here. Actually, you can't see that one right there, but there's another plant right here, and these are both female plants. The problem with the female plants in date palms, well, it's beneficial if you actually want the dates. And of course, the female plants carry the dates. So for a production type program, you want the female plants, you want to generate the dates because that's what we consume. The problem with these plants is these are landscape date palms, and in this environment, what happens when you get dates forming on the plants is they fall to the ground, they make a big mess on the driveway. The birds love them, so the birds will love you for having the date palms, but the birds will come in and they poop and they make a mess. And the other thing is, because they are fruits, when they sit on the ground and they rot, they kind of attract and promote fruit flies. So they smell a little bit like rotting dates. So there's a little bit of that issue as well. So they're beautiful landscape plants. But in order to really have them, you either have to have somebody come in and cut the dates out, or you have to be tolerant of the mess that they put in the yard, or you can get a male date palm if you have them tested. So these are both female, and the person here provided me a couple of plants years and years ago. I guess about 10 years ago is when the first plants...
Probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, when the first plants came to me. And those two plants were in my yard, and it ended up, we didn't know, but it ended up one was a male and one was a female. And the female she was a real productive female, and she produced a lot of fruits, big tree. I mounted orchids in her. It was great. And the male just sat behind and just produced pollen and just made all the females produce more fruits in the neighborhood. The female, however, because of a road improvement project that was done in this county, the female had to be removed. And I actually have a video of that I've shared with you previously, and I'll put a link to that video here. So that female plant had to be cut down and removed, and it was sad, but it was also okay, because it was a female and she made a real mess in my yard. And I get up in the tree, and I don't know if you can, these leaves, and especially the base of them, they're thorny, they're sticky. So this thing's poking into me, it hurts just a little bit. So they're not great for some applications. Once they get up high and these things can't poke you, it's fine. But that's another thing that all date palms do, both the male and the female. So I was sad that the female was cut down, but it was also, I also was thinking, okay, maybe I can get a male to put in here. And so I actually tested 3 plants that came from my female, which would have been the grandkids of these. I tested those, and they all ended up female. And actually, there's a female, ouch. The female, the tall one behind us, is the female plant that was from my plant. What we have next to us is plant A, B, and C that are primary progeny plants. They're kids from, I understand, this specific date palm right here. And we had these tested, and the testing was done by a colleague at The Ohio State University and the University of Florida. So the test was done, the PCR test was done, and we now have results. But what this is going to be is a gender reveal, and we don't know what they are. This is in a sealed envelope, and so we don't know what these are. But they were all named, and so the father here named them.
We're going to guess.
He named them with these names, and we're going to. And he was all the names that he used were male names, and so we're going to, because he was optimistic that they were all going to be male. I'm sorry. So we had them tested, and we have a reveal, and we're going to guess at the end, and I want you to try to guess yourself to figure out what these plants actually are, if they're male or female. And I do have the results, and I took a quick look at them, but I don't remember what's what. And we have at least one male in this group. So let's see how this goes. But before we do that, we want to take a look at the plant one at a time, and I'm going to share some characteristics with you, and that may influence your decision, my decision, and
mine,
and Dad's decision here. So the first plant that we have right here is A.
I called it Albert.
Albert. And so what are the other ones? Just fill us in on all the names.
This is B, Benedict, and the third one was C, Charles.
Okay.
Just to keep them separate and keep the test in order.
And these sound like royal names, or
why not use royalty?
And so, but it's British royalty. So do you have British ancestry in the?
Not quite.
Okay, so he just royal, male royal names is what he was going for here. So taking a look at Albert. So Albert's the first plant over there, and Albert, when you look at this plant, and I'm going to call him he. I'm going to call all the plants he until we figure out what they are. So Albert is a real stocky plant. It's good, incredibly vigorous growth, very stocky. And I should mention at this point that the female, when I had the female and male right next to each other on my property, and I'm over there, I'm just across the street. That's why I keep on pointing that way. But when I had the male and the female was the stockier plant, and I think it may have been because the female had to hold all those dates, and dates, as well as most of the palm fruits that you have in this area in Southwest Florida,
become very, very heavy.
They're very heavy, so you might need a good trunk to hold up all that weight. And so this one, Albert, sorry, Albert, if you're a guy, Albert has a good trunk. All right, so that may influence your decision. I know it's probably going to influence mine. Okay, then we move in the middle, and the middle plant is
Benedict.
Benedict. And so Benedict is right now a small plant. It kind of dainty. And sorry, Benedict, if you're a guy. Don't know if guys like to be called dainty, but a real thin trunk, and just not, it's a nice plant, but certainly not as vigorous or as large as the two other plants. So that's Benedict. And then over here we have Charles. So Charles is intermediate in size and shape, not as stocky, not as much as the vigorous grower. And I should mention all three of these plants were dug out of the ground underneath this date palm about the same time ago, year and a half, 2 years ago?
It's about 2 years.
About 2 years ago. All right, so these plants were put out here, put in these pots, but certainly Benedict's in a smaller pot, and it may be the reason that he's the smallest. Charles, he's pretty big, but he's in a big pot. Also, the thing is with with Albert it's really, again, the dense growths, but Albert was the one that was in
He had
a little
full sun.
more sun.
And perhaps that's why he's as stocky and as well built as, we'll use the word he at this point.
All right, so let's see how this goes. All right, so I want you to kind of say, okay, in your mind, what do you think of male and female? And we have the PCR tests, so we can check that. But we're going to go through this. And do you want to go first and guess?
Sure.
And guess what your plants are?
Based on what you just told me, I'm guessing Albert to be a female,
Okay.
prepared to hold all of that stock.
All right.
And I think Benedict and Charles are males,
Okay.
based on nothing.
All right, and that's what we do sometimes, is we make decisions with very little information. That's what we have, and that's why we have the test. And I'd like to make a different call from you, but I had my mind decided beforehand. So I'm going to go the same. I'm going to go the same thing. So I think, again, based on structure, I'm guessing female, male, male.
Okay.
So I don't know, but we'll see how it is. And now, what I want the father to do is the big reveal, and see if we can tell what this is. Okay, isn't it exciting? I should have music playing. Well, maybe I can put that in.
And the winner is, based on your people who reviewed this, A, Albert, and B, Benedict are males, and C, Charles is a female. So I was wrong, I was right, and I was wrong.
Okay.
And that means you had the same
thing.
1 out of 3.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if it was a test, we would have failed. But if we were
if we were in the
batters,
major leagues,
Major
we
League
would
batters.
have been batting .333 and in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I don't know how you did. So you can write to me in your comments to tell me how you did with guessing these. So we got male, female. So Charles we can't use Charles anymore. So the female version of Charles is,
Let's call Charlotte.
Charlotte. All right.
We just changed Charles' name to Charlotte.
All right. So sorry, girl. And this is pretty interesting. And would you care to tell me why this, now that we have to rename, why that is so interesting for us?
Well, what's interesting is my wife's name is Charlotte.
Okay.
But this plant Charlotte is out. But Charlotte, my wife, stays.
And you can't see, but Charlotte, not the plant, the person, is kind of watching what's going on, and she's smiling, and she's just excited to be here and be a part of this, and lucky that that she's not the plant.
Right.
The plant Charlotte. What I wanted to do again today was to share with you these plants and these the gender reveal that we have, and to share with you a little bit about what dioecious is and why that's important with date palm. And I got to figure out which of these plants is going to have a new home over at my place and replace the female plant that had to be removed for the street improvement project. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, I'm certain you're going to pick Albert.
Albert's looking pretty good right now. He's a good, vigorous grower. I think he'll do well.
He will.
I think we'll see how it goes. All right. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right. That's all I have for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.
Bye.